Okay. Do you have any idea about the lifecycle hook? Right? What exactly the lifecycle hook? Do you have an idea? What do you think about it? Lifecycle hook. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. I will try to make it simple. The reason if you uh, go through the content, there are some content might be directly can relate to your examples, practical use cases, but not always, because we only use a few of these, most of the time, even in real time. Example, connected callback. Do you remember a connected callback we used sometimes back recently, right? In a topic where where do you where did you use the connected callback?
Yes. Yes.
LMS, right? Lightning message service. So lifecycle hook is nothing but the phases, the different phases, um, different callback methods are being invoked during the life cycle of LWC component, which means when you load the component, when you load the component, what happens? There are different phases happening. Different phases are available. In other words, different stages, which means the component is created. Component is created. Once the component is created, once the component is created, the component will be inserted into DOM, which means it will be a part of your HTML page, document object model. So when it is a part of DOM, that the component will appear in the interface, which means the tag, for example, the paragraph tag, the lightning card. You get my point? So the component is created. That's the first stage. The component is the instance is created. The component instance is created. Then the, then the component renders. Render, rendering. Okay, and when you hide some tag, for example, when you remove that LWC component from the page, then what's happened? The component will be removed. Then after all this, in every stages, when the component is inserted, when the component is removed, and when you change any property of the JS, that will be monitored. That will be monitored. You get my point? So all these things are, um, you know, taken care by the framework. The frameworks can do the following during the life cycle of um, during the life cycle. That's what the short you can understand. The frameworks basically managing this life cycle when the component is instant, when the component is loaded. Basically, the component instance, it creates the component instance, then it inserts the component in the DOM. You have to put it like this. The framework will insert the component in the DOM, then the framework will render the component, then the framework will remove the component from the DOM. In all these phases, it monitors the component for any property changes. So in general, we call them as a lifecycle hook. Lifecycle hook in the sense, every phase, there are callback methods will be invoked. So what is the use of this callback method? You can refer these callback methods. You can perform something. You can do something. And there are some callback. There are scenarios you should not. What you can do, what you cannot do. So the callback methods you can utilize. For example, a connected callback. It's a method will be invoked whenever the component is inserted into the DOM during this phase. During this phase, this method, right? So you remember, right, in the LMS, right? We use this to subscribe. So when we can subscribe, once a component is created and inserted into the DOM, then this method will invoke so that we have that subscription logic here. Remember, right? So the subscription can only be done once the component is rendered into the interface. Once the component is inserted into the DOM, only then you need to subscribe. So at the right phase, you have to call the subscription method. So that right, that there are scenarios where these callback methods are useful. Okay. So and for example, this the first phase, when the component is the instance is created. So which callback method is being invoked? The constructor method. You know constructor, right? The constructor is basically used to create the instance, right? In the regular class logic, the constructor is nothing but to create the instance of a class. Similarly, in LWC, constructor is is basically you can have some logic here uh, once doing the component is instantiated. Okay, to the constructor, and this callback method will be invoked once the component is inserted. So where we'll use this? The scenarios like the subscription, right? Subscription needs to be called only when uh, once a component is inserted. So we already covered this, right? We already seen this usage in elements. You get my point? Able to follow this? What I'm trying to say? Yes. Okay. And we have a method, callback method that can be referred, that will be invoked internally. I mean, by the framework once a component is rendered. Which means, see, suppose you refresh something, you refresh some property, you change some property value. What will happen? This method will be invoked. The method name is rendered callback. When this method will be invoked, when you do some changes in the property, when you refresh the component, the rendered callback method will be invoked. So suppose you like to perform anything, whenever you refresh something, when you do any changes to the property, you would like to mandatorily perform some logic, then you keep that logic inside rendered callback. Get my point? And finally, when you remove, there is a method called disconnected. This is a method you will call when you like to uh, remove something from the DOM. Right. See, so this example, okay, this example, they're showing up like if at all you would like to use the constructor, you have to mandatorily refer super method. The reason uh, the constructor will know the constructor basically executes this life cycle executes from parent to child, which means super means it will refer the parent constructor, which means it refers the parent class, lightning element class constructor. So you have to first refer that, then you can initialize any variable of this particular JS, any property of this particular JS. So this logic, basically they given some, they're adding some CSS class dynamically to the HTML. This code is basically to add a CSS class called new class dynamically to the HTML. Okay, but this is wrong. They are saying this is wrong because you cannot. There are something you cannot do during this phase. They given one example saying like you cannot add any attributes, which means a new class, a class name, CSS class name. You should not add. It is only allowed to do in the rendered callback, not even the connected callback. Okay, I think this is completely this is not right actually. I think there are some article even they have given. I even tried this. This become null, but they given here it's legal, right? Even though it's given as legal, but this won't work. I can try this. I can show you an example now. Okay. Suppose I have some tag here. Right? And, so what this will do, I need to have some CSS class in order to perform this, right? Demonstrate this example. How will you create a CSS file? A CSS file. There's some content now. What is the file name? CSS class file name, new class. In the class like this. Okay. Okay, this is my CSS class. What will happen when I run this? This class should be added to the HTML dynamically. I'm just hard-coded now, like this. Like this, it will get added. But we are not adding it while creating the component, right? During the phase, this particular constructor is the first ever block will execute, right? This is the first phase of your life cycle. This is the first phase, no? So what will happen? Anything you have it here, that will be executed. But you cannot execute the first thing. You cannot execute unless you call the parent constructor. The super is basically used to call the constructor from the parent because it basically the life cycle goes from parent to child. The constructor life cycle goes from parent to child. You can notice that um, in your document. The constructor flows from the parent to child. So that you must first call the super. You must call the super first. The super is nothing but it's called the a constructor of the parent method, parent class. The parent class here is nothing but the lightning element. Okay, so you cannot have any code inside the constructor without calling super. So I just commented now. I'm trying to deploy this. Try here only. You see, right? Uh, you must call the super constructor before you do any such logic. You have to first call the parent constructor because the constructor flow always travel from the parent to child. So it is mandatory. Next is they are we are trying to refer this one, isn't it? So, but this won't work. This won't work. Okay, how to prove that? How to prove that? We can have a um, basically the CSS shouldn't be applied. If it is applied, then we'll see the background will be red. For example, I apply this directly. I apply this directly. What happens now? It applied directly, right? So, so if this code is right? If this is allowed, adding attribute is allowed, then I should see uh, the paragraph with red background, right? Okay, if this code works. Is this refresh? We don't see the background, right? Okay, and so you cannot add attributes within the constructor. But they mentioned it, we can do it in connected callback. So connected callback, when that will run? Once a component is inserted into the DOM. So that is a phase the connected callback will run. Normally when um, we'll use for subscribe and unsubscribe for the message channel, and we listen for any event, because to listen event the component should be inserted into the DOM, right? So, and they also referred it, we can access the current attribute of the pages, current attribute of the pages. They given here, they given in the here. Okay, I will come to the demo, but we'll see this now. Which one? This part. Whether this works or not. Okay. I mean the same code. Same code I am going to repeat inside the connected callback. This is not working, so I comment this. If this works, then it's fine. If this works as expected. Not working, right? So let us use the same code in the rendered callback. I'll comment this because it might create some issue, right? I comment this. Work. Okay. I think this code we need to rewrite different form. Like wait, should be How do you locate a particular attribute like this? Select paragraph. Okay. Dot. You're able to follow what I'm trying to do. This template query selector. You are locating a component. So which component you are locating? A paragraph component. So this syntax is used to locate a particular a tag. Okay. Suppose if you have a division here, how to locate this particular division? We just have to repeat this. Instead of P, we'll have a division. Get my point? So what I'm locating now? A paragraph. To this paragraph, what I'm adding? A class list. Class list in the sense a class I'm adding. So this syntax is a common JavaScript a property to refer to add a class to the this particular element. Okay. Let's see. It was if I comment this. Let's see the same is working in your connected callback. It's not working because it is null. It is null because before even the component is rendered, before even the component is rendered, you cannot perform this template dot query selector, right? So of course this particular phase is not working. The reason I'm trying to explain to you, as they given no, oh here this is legal, right? This may work, but this is not working for me. Okay, this is not working, right? I already tried this. The reason I trying with this template, but this template is not working even for uh, connected callback. So this will only work in rendered callback. We already tried this. Okay. So these are the three important phases you have in your one more phases. Disconnected callback. Disconnected callback. You'll use it in during the unsubscribe the LMS when you remove the DOM, when you remove certain property. So you see here disconnected callback to clean up the work done in connected callback. Suppose you listen some event within connected callback, you like to clear that cache. You like to clear that cache. You like to remove that event from the buffer. Then you'll do that logic inside the connected callback. Okay. The disconnected callback is used to unsubscribe. Unsubscribe, which means right, they are passing. They are calling the unsubscribe method. I mean unsubscribe. And they're passing the this subscription, which means this property, right? So when you remove the component from the DOM, finally when you like to unsubscribe, cleaning up the work that you have done in connected callback. Whatever you have done in connected callback, you like to reverse it. In connected callback, you subscribe it. Then finally, once the subscription is done, you like to unsubscribe. Then you'll do it inside it disconnected callback. So this is will run when you remove the component from the page from the DOM. right? The connected callback will run once the component is inserted. The constructor is the first ever method will run once a component instance is created. Once a component instance is created. You get my point? And there are certain things you can do, you should not do. So what you should not do before you call a super, which means that before you call the constructor of parent class, you should not perform any logic. So that's not possible in C constructor. We already tried it. Okay, and but as given here, you cannot do this also, but you can do this inside your rendered callback. So something like adding the attributes, adding the attribute in the sense adding a new class, for example, okay, adding a new class, CSS class. So you cannot add this inside the constructor, as well as we have seen this is null. It's become null in connected callback. Okay, so now against the documentation which is given here, we tried this now. You can only do that adding attributes inside the rendered callback. The adding CSS class, it works only in the here only, right? So that is one thing. Okay, and what else? Rendered callback, whenever the property is changed, whenever you do any changes in the property, you hide anything, in those scenarios, this rendered callback will always be invoked. So all these are all callback methods. All these are all callback methods. The lifecycle hooks basically are callback methods. Okay, so every phases, certain callback methods are being called. What are those callback methods? Constructor, connected callback, rendered callback, error callback. Right? If any error occurred in the document, the DOM page, right, DOM structure, then the error callback method will be invoked. Okay, so we can make this lifecycle hook detailed this much. We may not go. I don't think much scope here to discuss more than this. If you have any doubt or anything, you can. Otherwise, we can close this lifecycle hook with this. Okay, with this level. If you have any doubt, you can ask. What exactly you understand? You just try some examples like this. If you like to revise, I can revise. And there are the direction, right? Parent to child, child to parent. That is important. The rendered callback basically works in different direction. First, the child will render callback, then the parent render callback will run. Okay, but the constructor, first the parent will be called, then the child will be called. I think this is enough. Don't be getting into deep, getting more information about this. It might confuse because I don't see much scope here at this level.
Yeah, hi.
Okay.
In the example, you mentioned query selector, right? What is the use of query selector? I missed that.
Query selector, see, this they are trying to add dynamically the CSS class to the a particular element here. Element here is paragraph. Suppose you click on a button, then there are some part of the page is getting highlighted. Suppose you click on paid, then there are certain other places where you like to show something else by applying some CSS. So how to dynamically add? Currently there is no attribute, which means there is no class equal to my style. But we are adding this dynamically, which means how would we add? There are many tags in my page, division, paragraph, H1, we have some more divisions, but among these, I need to add the CSS class only for the paragraph, right? So how would I add this? In order to add this, I need to locate this tag, right? And there are n number of tags in my page. Example, if you take this one, I have many tags here, but to this tag I need to add. How do you locate this particular tag? You need to use this template. by querying the selector. Selector means what? In CSS, the selector is nothing but the HTML. Where do you like to apply your CSS? That is called selector. The division is a kind of selector. Paragraph. So you're going to locate a particular tag. Which tag? Paragraph tag. You get it? So this is going to return this particular object property. So you're just adding this to this paragraph, the CSS. How you are going to add? Using this one. So this is a common method. Class list is a common method. That clarifies question. You see here, the class list is a standard property name in JavaScript, using which you can add any CSS style class you can add to the particular element. So you get it?
Okay, so this query selector and this class list are only for the CSS properties, right?
Only this class list is for only for CSS property. But this is a common method of locating the any particular element, HTML element. You just have to refer that HTML element here.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you see here, this dot template query selector, this is going to return the first occurrence of the division. We have two divisions here, but this is going to refer only the division, the first division, which means this one. You get it? You get my point? So query selector basically will look for the first occurrence of the paragraph or first occurrence of the division, whatever you mentioned here. Suppose I mentioned div here. Suppose I have multiple divisions here. So which division will be located? The first division by the query selector. You get my point? This is going to return. This is going to return the first occurrence of the paragraph. If I make it as all, selector all, then what will happen? What will happen? That's going to return all the occurrences like this in the form of array, square bracket, right? Right. So selector all. Suppose you you like to iterate, get all the tags, and you like to iterate inside the JS and do something, then you use this selector all. You get my point? So suppose you like to get all the tags and add something to all the attributes one by one. Then you have to get this and put in the array and iterate it one by one and get the element and do something. In such scenario, you will use selector all to refer to get all the tags. To get only one first occurrence of the tag, selector. If you know there is only unique tag is there, then selector you can use. Okay, and the selector span. There is no tag like span, right? It's going to return null. Is that clear?
Yes, Ranjit. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, you practice this. I just upload this for your practice. Demonstrate the project tomorrow. Demonstrate a project work tomorrow. Followed by that, you will be assigned with the project, and you have to complete and do the presentation. That's what we're going to see. Okay. So, do you have any doubt or anything? You can answer this.
Thank you.
Thank you.